Hello everybody, today we're going to be looking at a scenario where civilization starts over. Now sometimes civilization videos start in the Arabian Peninsula, maybe Mesopotamia, maybe India, maybe China, or Africa, and some of them do start in Europe, which is also where I will be starting, and specifically I will be starting over here in Iberia. So the first nation that will go ahead and pop up is of course, and it has to be, usually a red blob country right here. And of course, we also have to add the explored lands. So I want to say that in this country, there's about 10,000 people in this country, and they are, of course, they're just figuring out better things. They're after the stage of hunting and gathering. They have settled into one place. They might have settled into other locations, like maybe they settled in Catalonia or like southern Portugal right over here. But this is where their main country will be starting. And they are going to start exploring, specifically west over here, getting over to Galicia, and eventually taking this whole area. From here, the Red Country will expand along the Galician coast and explore more down the Portuguese coast. Now, at this point, I want to say there's about 35,000 people, with most of them living right here. I'm gonna go ahead and add capital, so this guy's capital will of course be where they started right here. But now they're going to go ahead and send out an exploration group down to this central area, Spain, and actually goes pretty well. They discover a lot of the central Spanish area. And they also set up this, which kind of travels between these two areas right here. And then they send up another one to go to the southern area of Spain, and this one is also successful. However, this one, they're a little more rebellious, and they set up the Blue Country in southern Iberia. This Blue Country will explore a lot around them, and eventually they will also start to expand around them. The Red Country, after kind of figuring this out, is going to kind of follow in the footsteps of their explorers. However, it is getting quite dangerous out here in these central areas where it is very hard to navigate through. So they will officially just say, fine, you can have independence, just don't touch us. And not in a weird way either. So they will, of course, explore more through Portugal. The Blue Iberians do the same thing. I realize I have to say Blue Iberians, and that kind of sounds similar to Emergence, Blue Iberians, but they're in different locations, so it should be good enough. Eventually, what? Eventually, all of this Andalusian slash Southern Portuguese area will be discovered, and of course, the countries have to get on top of that. So the Red Country will fill in pretty much this whole entire area right here while the Blue Country has done about that. So let's take a look at the division of this area right here. And that looks something like this. So the red Iberians got most of it, but the blue did get some of this Portuguese area. But from here, the blue team mainly will be focused on colonizing and discovering more parts of Africa as they do that such thing and discover a lot of this northern Moroccan slash northeastern or northwestern, sorry, Algerian areas. But while the blue team is focusing on Africa, the red team has been focusing on this area right here, and eventually they will discover all of this Iberian region until they reach this pretty big mountain range that sits right here. I don't remember what it's called, but it basically divides Iberia from the rest of Europe. And of course, these guys will they're gonna have to expand. But then a new country forms over here in Catalonia, and that is a yellow team. Now, this yellow team came from mostly from people from the red team who were kind of mad about their forcing of people to go explore and expand. The blue team will go ahead and do their last expansion of Iberia, and that looks something like that. And then the rest of this will look something like that. Of course, these two countries will explore more areas of France and mainland Europe as a whole, especially the red team, who really doesn't want to be cut off. However, they're about to be if they don't do anything. Coming down over here to Africa, we see that the blue team has made their first colony down here. This will be a big area, especially right here. There will be a big trading hub in the future. However, of course, they don't know that right now. But what they do know is exploring more areas of North Africa as they reach as far. What? As they reach as far as this Tunisian area right here, and eventually they will try to go through more with the Sahara. However, once again, the Sahara Desert is hot, so they will once again mainly focus on the coastal regions. Once again, that's the fifth time I said that. Here's Catalonia's capital. I kind of forgot to put that earlier. Coming over here to these islands, these Spanish islands, the blue team will colonize or explore them and then colonize them. Sorry, I got a little too ahead of myself. Coming back to mainland Europe, we will see that the yellow team specifically will be focusing on the southern French area right here, kind of avoiding the major Alps, trying to go around them. However, the Alps are pretty large and they're not very fun to travel across, so they won't try to doing that for now. However, however, the yellow team will expand. They will do pretty well. They take a lot of this land right here. And it looks like they're trying to cut off the red team from expanding, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. And the red team is pretty mad about this. However, they will take their last amount of land in mainland Europe, as the yellow team is, of course, just going to cut them off. Coming back down to Africa, we see the blue team expanding down this coast right here, and they even get all the way down to Tunisia. And they will try to hold us together. However, the people that have been moved to this area, forcefully moved, they don't like how they've been forcefully moved, and they are given one of two options: either stay here or die. I think I would choose the first option. Coming over here to Corsica and Sardinia, the Sardinians will be explored by the Blue Iberians, and then eventually Corsica will also be explored. And they even make a landing near the Genoa area, as well as they captured the island of Elba. I only know that because Napoleon was first brought there when he was doing pretty bad stuff. And eventually they connect up with the Yellow Explorers, who once again have been doing great. They have gone through the Alps. They're trying to explore it. However, it's still very hard. But over here, I mean, there's mountains over here in Sicily and in mainland Italy, but I don't really care. So they're going to be exploring it. And they take all of Corsica. The yellow team will also expand. This time they're gonna go into the Alps area, and they will go near Italy, and eventually they go into Italy. However, it is getting a little cold in the mountains, so they will stop as a new country will form, and that being a brown Italian country. The lore for this is that a group of people from the blue team and the yellow team kind of rose up and decided to move over here to settle their own country, where there's a lot of opportunity to move out here in the east. The yellow team will continue their exploration up north. They are not stopping. They're like the yellow team in real 80s Pro Wix. So remember the yellow team that was in Ukraine, and then it moved up here, then moved all the way up here to the Baltic region until it got destroyed. They were go-getters. And this yellow team also is, and they're also go-expanders, as they will expand throughout this Brittany area right here, and they will stop at a line that looks something like this. Coming back over to Africa, we see something bad happen with the Blue Iberian, and that is a large rebellion in this area, which encompasses a lot of important land for the Blue Iberians. This was definitely going to be an important piece of land. And this whole coast is very valuable for this empire right here in the Mediterranean, and they have just lost that. And they've also lost all their access to Africa. Now, of course, the blue team wouldn't want this. They would want, they would want access to this whole coast right here. So they will try to fight back. But this results in massive casualties. And if I'm gonna be honest, it would be better just to go ahead and not surrender, but just agree to peace with the green team. And in this peace treaty, we can see that the blue team still holds parts of Africa. However, the green team is now independent and now can do whatever they please to do. Fortunately for the blue team, they didn't lose all their colonies,
That'll be good for them as they get all of Sicily and all of Sardinia. What's happened? Coming over here to this brown team, they will also expand down the coast of Italy. The blue team will make a colony over here in Genoa. However, the brown team is swiftly going up, so you might want to be more careful. And yeah, so the blue team gets trapped from expanding. And the only way they can really expand is down south over here in the Moroccan area. I mean, of course, they could just go through and make a colony in Greece, but that is very far away. And I don't think that is too plausible for right now. And also, they don't know if Greece exists. Coming over here to the yellow country, I was about to say purple country, but it's about to be the purple country. Because a large rebellion has formed up here in the northern region of the country. These guys will expand and explore, however, they will be peaceful, they will not fight in any wars. And they overall are just a chill guy country. The yellow team wants us back, so they will go ahead and try to invade, and they will do pretty well at the start of the war. However, the purple team is just doing interesting things. They are not focusing on the main front line, but focusing on this front line, which will cause the yellow team to focus on this area and not focus on this area. So eventually, the yellow team just finds it plausible to just let these guys go, and that's what they will do. And in this peace treaty, you can see the purple team has been released. So the yellow team lost some influence over in the this region, and that was probably a big loss because the purple team just discovered the UK, and this is pretty good. Just kidding, it's very bad, and they're gonna go ahead and say they want to leave, in which they do, and they will never visit there ever again. Just kidding, they will still be here. However, something interesting happens as they see an orange blob in the distance. Not really, it's just the color of the country that I want to make it. But this tribe, it's a tribe, it doesn't have a capital. The purple team will go ahead and meet up with it, and they will try to establish good relations. However, the orange team, straight up, they just slaughtered them all, and they stole a couple of books, a couple information, and eventually they're gonna go ahead and form a civilization. And now we include their explorer lands, and that looks something like this. The purple team, who kind of wants to get back at the orange team, will make a landing in Cornwall and take pretty much all of it. But then the orange team hears about this, and they just cut them off from doing anything, and they take all that land, and they also take the rest of southern England. The yellow team, who is still hungry for land, they will go ahead and explore up north into the Dutch areas until we see an interesting event happen. Now, let's look at the red team. The red team is cut off from expanding. They cannot expand at all unless they were to find an island up north. Can we use your docks right here? That is what the red team asks. The purple team will go ahead and say yes. They traveled here. They use the docks here, and they're wanting to go right here, but in Wales, but they accidentally go this way, and they discover Ireland. From here, they set up a colony, and they will expand upon this, eventually explore the rest of Ireland. And after a couple of years, it looks like this. Coming back over here to Africa, we see the green team doing some more expansions or explorations into this Libyan area. They are going to take a lot of the coastal regions, but they will explore Sahara a little bit more with the camels. And they expand to something that looks like this. The yellow team will expand over here in this Italian area after, they're really sad about what happened right here. So they feel they need a coat. The brown team is going to go ahead and discover a lot more of the Italian region and this Adriatic Sea region, and they will go ahead and take a lot of it. But that is going to do it for this video. Really hope you guys enjoyed. I will be making more of this type of content in the future. So I see you guys in the next one. Good.